Yeah.
Donzel played at Hopewell.
I remember
brother,
him.
Oh, was that Denzel Donzel? He had a brother go to Kansas State.
Hey, guys, we are on right now. This is Jim West, Del Ross, and Coach Brandon Thompson here on Talking Preps OT. We have a treat tonight. We have Coach Thompson at Olympic. Coach, it's so good to see you, man. I've never met you before. It's really good chatting with you behind the scenes here. And Dale, I know you know Coach Thompson fairly well from recent experiences on the sidelines there.
Yeah, I was asking you about Keith. When he was at Olympic, I nicknamed him the Great White Shark first, and then we changed it to Jaws, which is still a white shark. And I explained to him the reason why I thought he was a shark because of the way he played at linebacker. You know, he controlled. He played middle linebacker as good as any. Maybe Jared Seat at Olympic. I don't know if you know Jared, but Jared played at Wingate. Jared finished, I think, number 2 at Wingate in tackles all time. But anyway, yeah, you know Keith's ability of play. He was like
he's one of the last true middle linebackers, from that early 2010 era. Just thicker, just run stopper first. Was athletic, but he just really stood out on tape as a real headhunter, man. So I can see why you call him the Great White Shark in Jaws. Yeah, I remember Keith McAfee, and his tape stood out big time.
Well, I had a little bit of a different mindset when Dale said Jaws. I was thinking about Kel Yarborough back in the late 70s. He nicknamed Darryl Waltrip Jaws because he ran his mouth off all the time.
He ran his mouth all the time.
I was like, Dale, where are you going on, man? Let's don't call someone Jaws.
Keith had a little bit of that too now.
Keith did.
Yeah,
Keith was
keep in touch with Keith.
He was a headhunter for sure. There's been a handful of very, very good middle linebackers at Olympic. And I think Keith was Keith had a situation against East Gaston or Ashbrook. But anyway, it was at Olympic. And there was an event that happened when Notre Dame and NC State played down in Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. And NC State made 4 stops inside the 5-yard line. And Keith did the same thing all by himself. He made 4 tackles inside the 5-yard line to seal the game for Olympics. So enough about Keith.
I've heard that story though.
It was
several times.
It was a fantastic, one of the best performances I've seen from a player in any game of any school, and I've seen a lot of schools, but I've not ever seen a player rise that much in a time of need as Keith did. He was like he just knew where to go instinctively every time and made all 4 plays. Jim, that's I don't know if you've ever seen a player do anything like that, but I had not.
Peyton Wilson from Orange and later on at NC State, he was that type of player.
Yep.
And it's fun watching these guys. And, Peyton Wilson is one of the best linebackers you'll ever see. And, being that I'm a UNC fan, we have nightmares about Peyton.
He's better than Chucky.
Oh, gosh, was he ever.
Now, Chuck E. Cheese was pretty good, but anyway.
Yeah. But just I love it when you get these guys. I love linebackers. To me, they're a lot of times they're the most unappreciated group of people in the field. And I also think they're like the coaches. They're like sometimes the best coaches come out of the linebacker.
It wasn't always that way, man. It seemed like now in today's football, it's a lot more about pass coverage from the DBs, corners, safeties, and things like that, and those walk down, rushers and things. But those inside backers, if you don't have good ones, it'll exploit your defense big time. So they don't get talked about a ton now like they did, before. But when you don't have good ones, you definitely notice it. So they're not underappreciated at the Olympic, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
I want to ask you something about Friday night, because that just made me think about something that happened Friday night. Why do you think your opponent decided to run so much inside, especially in time of need and being down so much? Because you guys shut that down.
Yeah, I mean, well, inside is where the gaps are, so I can understand why people would want to run inside. And the way that we leverage our defensive ends, and then, if you have a tight end, how we'll play the alley and, try to take away outside leverage. If it's not there, you got to run where the gaps are. So I would assume maybe that's why they did. But, this year defensively, it's hard to really run on us anywhere. I mean, we've had 3 shutouts on defense this year, and haven't given up a ton of points a lot this year. This year is our first year where we have we've won the turnover margin, so guys are creating turnovers. So we got a very good defense. So it's tough to run inside or outside on those guys, man, no matter who the opponent is.
Gotcha. So before you were a head coach, what was your specialty? Were you more on defense or offense?
Yeah, I'm an offensive guy by trade. I never was an offensive coordinator so I actually the day I became a head coach, I became an offensive coordinator for the first time. I became a first-time head coach and the first-time offensive coordinator the same day. But I've always worked with receivers. I've been a special teams coordinator. Coach Keith Wilkes, who I worked for before at Olympic, gave me my first opportunity to do special teams there, which I think is unique because you do get to coach offense and defense when you're on special teams, And so I learned a lot there. Working with Coach Fowler, he was one of the biggest influences that I've had learning the offensive line. Taking what I've learned offensive line, what I learned as receivers, what I've learned coaching offense and defense, special teams, I think ultimately helped me be a better, offensive coordinator. But I'm an offensive guy by trade.
Now, what kind of offenses have you run over the years?
Yeah, I came up like as a graduate assistant, as a young coach in the air raid. I was able to work for a guy, Ernest Wilson, that coached at New Mexico State with Hal Mumme, and I learned air raid from a guy that worked directly with Hal Mumme and Mike Leach and those guys. But now, since I've been in high school, I would say really more multiple. I would like to say I do everything from spread you out 10 personnel, empty personnel to 32 personnel, heavy packages. Really just offensively, I like to design it around the kids that you have. Every football team is different from year to year, and you have different strengths. Some years you may have, a quarterback. Some years you may not. That can't stop you from scoring points. That's your job as an offense to score points. So to answer your question, I would say more multiple, and in high school, because you don't get to pick your players, just you want to call scheme that best benefits the kids that you have, put them in the best position to be successful.
I always got to ask this question here. If there was an offense that you've never ran before, but you'd like just to play around with it just for the fun of it, do you have any specific offense? Maybe you just want to, if you could, play it for a couple of weeks or whatever, just see how it goes.
Yeah. So I've coached in a ton, but I would say I've never called plays as in some of the variations of wing T, but I have coached in it. But I was a receiver coach in the wing T offense. I don't know it thoroughly, but I do know that it's one of the more successful offenses, and one of the offenses that win the most state championships. Especially when you talk about 1A, 2A levels of ball and things like that. So it's been around for decades, and it has a ton of success. And I haven't coached in it, but would like to learn more about some of those different variations of, wing T principles, wing T football.
I was going to say, I
So
love wing T too. Y'all know Dale's a big fan of wing T.
Mm-hmm.
Butler has won several state championships,
There you
and
go.
their offense is a variant of a wing T, or
Mm-hmm.
was a variant of a wing T. So it's found its success here in Charlotte, even at the biggest level. Charlotte Catholic ran it for a long time, and then Brodowitz switched to a more spread type of offense. Uh, they use the T formation as their base offense, and then
Mm-hmm.
At Catholic, so they teach the T formations down at Holy Trinity,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe in their other youth football, but they carry it up into JV and varsity, and that's kind of why they have a situation of players being able to step in, because if you're running the same offense from top to bottom, then kids at least already know what they're supposed to
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
and it just becomes a matter, is their skill and their speed
Mm-hmm.
better than the kid that they're having to step in for?
Yeah. And then you can throw in more wrinkles, and it's more about the details at that point. If you had a baseline of what you're going to be doing in high school, you've been running since elementary, right? So it's a huge advantage. Yeah.
Like
that would be
also,
I'd just say that would be a great thing here in Charlotte if we could have feeder systems, and we could have that kind of a system. But sometimes kids don't know, what high school they're going to be going to the next year.
Yeah.
10 years ago, like east of I-95 in North Carolina, you see wing T's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just a lot of that. I know you said you were originally from that Virginia Beach area.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a lot of wing T over there, that area, or was it more spread?
More spread when I got coaching and stuff. I mean, but you talk about wing T. You guys know anything about Phoebus High School, Hampton High School? Those guys like really hung their hat on that stuff.
A little bit.
When I got into coaching, it was more about Oscar Smith, Oceans Lake, kind of spreading this stuff out. Back when, what's the coach? When Oregon was kind of like introducing a lot of the spread principles and things like that, you started to see it involve more into that type of stuff.
I gotcha.
So how do you feel you coming into what could be a big game for Olympic in general, not just this season, getting out of the second round?
Yeah.
Which, hasn't happened since state championship years, I remember.
State championship year. So I know we went to the third round in 2013. I wasn't a part of that coaching staff, but I think Shuford took them to the third round in 2013.
The third, oh yeah, that's right. That was the East Man.
I'm on top of things.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But
I have not. We have not been to past the second round since. We've only been to the second round twice since 2013. That was when I was, 2022. We went 11-1. We ended up losing to Independence, and then this year would be us going into the second round. It's huge, like for the school in general, like you said, not just for this season. And I mean, really any school, man, getting to the third round of the playoffs, like it's really like very elite teams left at that point. So we would love to be a part of that.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, second round is good. Third round is obviously better. Mm-hmm. Finding a way to eat turkey and practice on the same day can be special. Yeah. So making it that far deep is also a big thing. I don't want you to give anything away, but you've had a chance to look at Sun Valley, and just in general, what might you say about the upcoming game?
Yeah, man. So Coach does a great job over there. Me and Coach have a relationship, and he's about the kids. I know he's a defensive guy, and he comes from a great background of coaching. He was at Weddington and things like that. So they have great leadership there. Quarterback's good. I think it's be our first lefty that we're playing this year. See, I'm giving too much. Running
Yeah.
back is good. Defense is good. I mean, I think it's going to be one of the better games, definitely in 6A, but in the Charlotte area this weekend. Evenly matched teams, both have good quarterbacks, solid line, good defense on both sides of the ball. Their running back's very good. Our running back's very good. So it'll be a good one.
Yeah, I think if you look at the games that we have here in the area, it's one of the more potentially competitive games. It and maybe the Mallard Creek game, Mallard Creek West Forsyth, can be competitive. But otherwise, there's some question for the other teams as to how competitive they'll be able to make their games. So, I do think, and it's a game I'm thinking about attending. I like Sun Valley. I like the environment there. It can be quite exciting. Have you ever had a chance to play at Sun Valley?
Yeah. So as an assistant coach, we played there when Sam Howell was there, and then as a head coach, I've played Sun Valley once there and then once at my place. In 2021, we beat them there, and then 2022 we beat them at our place. So.
Right. Yeah, and I did not want you to give away any secrets about what you plan to do. I don't think the quarterback lefty is probably not too much of a secret, because how many of those do we see, right?
Hey, lefties are great. I'm a lefty. I mean, it's so tough to be a South Pole in a North Pole world. I mean, it's really hard.
Are those the smart people or those artistic people? I'm a righty. Which one of the?
Well, what's the word? We just think differently. We can't throw a ball straight. I mean, we have it either dips or rises. I mean, we can't. If we write anything, it smudges. I mean, we can't use a chainsaw because nothing's made for a left-hander.
They make great pitchers. I can tell you, playing baseball, whenever I came up against a left-handed pitcher, because you're not accustomed to where the ball's coming from, it's a lot harder. And quite honestly, they can throw. They throw a little bit different. So
yeah, we dip and everything. And I was going to ask you, Coach. You're talking to Southwest Dale.
Odad.
Odad, exactly. He knows I live here in the Southwest, and way back when, I don't know if you know the story of that, but I used to do a lot there at the program when my sons played. My wife was heavily into the booster club. I was in the booster club, but I spent most of my time interfacing with the various athletic programs. And one of the things I did was carry some of the kids on recruiting trips, because they didn't have a parent that could take them. And coach might be doing something else. So I carried a kid and my son down to Georgia Tech. And while we were down there, he said, you're kind of like an Olympic dad. And of course, as you know, Big O, right? It's the Olympics, the Big O. So he said, you're O-Dad. So it kind of stuck. That's where it came from, Jim. I don't know if I'd ever told you that, but yeah. So awesome. Now they're calling me Southwest, or Langston's is now calling me Southwest Dale. Like I don't leave, Southwest.
Dale doesn't discriminate. He loves all those Southwest schools in Mecklenburg County.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, there you go. You could say, no. I was just trying to think. I'm a West Side guy. I grew up on the West Side of Charlotte, Coach Thompson. So I went to West Mac, played at West Mac.
Okay.
So I'm a West Side guy, and it was always odd. I'm very good friends with Rocky White, who is a legend.
Rocky. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Rocky always would talk about, yes, us West Side schools. And it was hard for me to think of Olympic as a West Side school, because I'm thinking inner city kind of West Side. But anyway.
It's definitely Southwest. It's Southwest.
You know, where I came from, Coach, I don't know if you know where I grew up. I grew up about an hour east of Charlotte over in the Albemarle town of Baden. And we used to call all those people in Charlotte just city slickers. We didn't care where you were. It's just all part of the city, you know.
Mm-hmm.
All to us, the city of Charlotte is just homogenous, you know, just all a bunch of people from the city as opposed to, you know, the cow country I grew up in.
Well, Jim,
one of my good friends out here is from Stanley County, so he tells me all the time.
Oh, who's your friend? Got to ask you.
Oh, his name's Galen, and they were good friends. I've known him since I moved to Charlotte, and yeah, he's from Stanley County.
You know what? You know if he went to high school in Stanley County?
He went to North Stanley, I believe.
All right, that's where I went to, North Stanley.
There you go.
So,
yeah,
I know my Stanley County.
Stanley
County is, we used to joke around 65,000 people, only about 24 surnames. Mm-hmm. So I mean, so help me, everybody's related to each other. There's like the 12 tribes of Stanley County. You had the Millers, you had the Peoples, you had the Honeycutts, the Udies, the Louders. And you can't say anything bad about anybody because you're insulting somebody's kin. So.
Gotcha. Understood.
And don't think all of us in Charlotte were city slickers, Jim, because we were called the Cowboys, as in we lived with the cows, and I'm talking about West Mecklenburg because West Mecklenburg was out of the city. And everybody talked about having to go out into the country to play us. But anyway, you also coach, and I meant to do this, and I have not done it yet, but I have a sneaky feeling you have the record for most wins at Olympic now. I've got to total them up. My mind has buried in it that Shuford was in the 50s for number of wins. Do you happen to know your total wins? Langston put up or
I think it's 51.
We had
51 or 52.
Yeah. So 51 last week. So I don't know if I got the most wins.
You're close.
But you know, 2 of those seasons were, I mean, we played, during COVID, so they were abbreviated seasons. And then I didn't, in 2019 was the only year we had the, the 11 game season. So, you got to weigh some of that stuff in there. But, I'm proud of the success that I've had with my coaching staff, those players at Olympics since I've been there, and just they've bought into, what I've been preaching and the standard that I've, held them to, and I've worked hard, and I'm glad that we were able to win some championships and had a lot of success over the years.
So understanding that history, Olympic for the most part, besides that the state championship run, up until Scott Braswell took over, Olympic didn't fare very well in wins and losses. And then Scott Braswell, he did very well in the few years that he coached there. Coach Stein, who was at Sun Valley, he also did well. Coach Pete Gilchrist, I don't know if you know Pete.
Yes, sir.
You do know Pete?
Yeah.
Pete's a good guy. Pete asked, or Pete had success. Then the school was split, and we had not so many good years. And then, of course, we had Flowers and Shuford, and now I think you've had a good run. So
we do have a question for Coach Thompson here. It's from Kathy Powers. She says, Coach Thompson, this will be your 9th win in a row. I guess it's 8 straight regular season games, and completed the first playoff. What are you doing differently for the next playoff game?
Yeah, so we still haven't seen the best version of Olympic, right? So, we played well. 9 straight is that's a great feat. But we still have a lot of things that we got to clean up. We still have too many carelessness. This might be coach talk, but we got too many careless mistakes. We got to eliminate those if we want to win round 2. We still aren't executing at blowing some assignments that that we've practiced, and that we shouldn't be making those mistakes on assignments in November. If you do, they'll get you beat. As well as now we practice differently as far as our guys, resting them a little bit more during the week of practice, right? It's a lot less collision. It's more mental and just understanding your assignment and what your opponent's doing. So
do you just hit one day, or do you not? Are you not hitting this week?
No. So I mean, we hit 2 days a week, right? So, but just less scripted plays during each period, more walkthroughs in the beginning and at the end of practice, and then whenever we have collision, we're just being super intentional about the times and reps that we have during those periods.
So let me ask you a question related to that. Obviously, that has to do with trying to keep the health and longevity of the player. What do you think about the length of the season and the physical toll that it takes on players? Is it too long?
So again, we don't have the 11 game season, a regular season like we did have. So I think they cut back some there. But also in the playoffs, like I know everybody has opinions about what the playoffs should be. And, that's easy for us to say, but it's a lot of logistics that go into that stuff. But just on a simple way of putting it, I think that playoffs should be no more than, 5 rounds, and the 5th round being the state championship. I think that would help, everybody involved, the coaches, the kids, and everything. So yeah, I think the playoffs could be shorter, but a 10-game regular season, I think that's right on par with what most states are doing. I wouldn't want to see it be less than 10.
So we've in the past seen 11 game seasons and 5 playoff, including the state. So 16 games overall, potentially a player could play. So do you think 15 games is not, you think that's okay, or should it be less than 15 games in a season?
14 and 15, I think right in there. I think 4 weeks would be tough because you still got that bye week deal. So I think 5 is probably the sweet spot for a team that had to play first round. That would be my vote.
Just a quick question, because I'm not a coach, but would it be beneficial to have like an extra week in the preseason, like just maybe start the regular season a week later? Would that help you guys out anymore, or would it just be like what's the word? Too repetitive?
No, I think ending around that last week of October, helps. You probably maximizing on money, meaning like the weather's a little bit better the last week of October than the second week of November. So more fans may attend then, and then you got other schools where they're transitioning, getting ready for basketball, things like that. Maybe they could go there. So I think it's good where it's at. Ended around that last week of October was probably the sweet spot.
Well, if you consider the fact that really, Jim, there's only a short dead period in the summer. When you look at the grand scheme of things, most schools, the kids are going the whole summer, except for their dead period. So, they're not practicing, but you have your mini camp. The last week of July, you have a mini camp, and there's another question. Boy, I tell you what, I've got to agree with this too about number 64. What a leg he's got. Tell us about that, Coach. He puts the ball into the end zone.
Yes, Fernando Zelaya, super committed to his craft. He's been our kicker for the past 3 seasons. Has been automatic from extra point all 3 years. Every year, his field goal attempts have gone up just with trust and experience and stronger leg. This year is the year that he was consistently able to you know, put it in the end zone for touchbacks. He's actually had 20 on the year, which is
Wow.
good for us. That's the most I've had from any kicker that I've coached. He trains with Dan Orner. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him.
I am, yes.
Yeah, I mean he's a nationally known kicking coach, so we're grateful for be able to have our guys to go to Dan, and I mean he's coached several of my kickers. He does a tremendous job, but just serious about his craft. He wants to play in college, and has had interest from college coaches, so has the grades, has the legs only gonna get stronger. And we're excited about his future. But we've been lucky to have him throughout his time at Olympic.
I talked with him a little bit, and he also has confidence to kick 50 plus. So he doesn't flinch at that at all.
Well, they all do, but I mean, you need to dial it in a little bit, man. We go 45, 40 maybe. I don't know. But no, he does a great job. I mean, he works his stuff. Obviously, hopefully we don't get in that situation, but I mean, he's won us 3 games this year, so he does a great job. Keep an eye out on that kid.
There's a comment here from Providence football that I'd like to have put up. If you can read that, Coach.
The P, yeah. Love Coach Thompson, man. Stand up, smart football coach who loves his kids. Yeah. I appreciate that, guys.
So, Coach, what do you teach at Olympic?
Weightlifting. And I teach PE for the extensions program.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, watching you on the sidelines with your kids, I think Providence football's statement is like dead on. I love the way that you guys Friday night you had opportunities to get on kids, but instead I saw a lot of coaching up in situations where some coaches may, get on a kid harder than he should.
Yeah.
And I like to see that in coaches. You got 2 opportunities when a player does something you don't like, you wish he'd do better. And one is to coach them up, and the other is to beat them down. And you
Coach, man, had a tremendous, not just me, man, I have a tremendous staff important to these kids. I mean, offense coordinator, Mike Fischetti, John Lamont, my defensive coordinator, all the assistant coaches, all the support staff, man. These guys are just totally invested in the vision and the kids. So it's not just me, man. These everybody involved do an amazing job of not only preparing them, but loving up the kids, coaching up the kids. Now we get on them, but we like to get on them on Mondays, right? In the game, we just want to correct and get them coached up in that moment. We'll hold them accountable on Mondays. That's just kind of how we roll at Olympic.
So I don't know if you heard my comments after the game Friday night on our after game show, but I was really upset with the turnout from the home fans Friday night. We carried more than that up to Asheville to play AC Reynolds. And I'm talking about Olympic-based people. We carried more than that up to Alexander Central. Why do you think the fan turnout, and actually the visitors had about the same number of fans? Why do you think the fan volume was so low?
So a couple of things. One, you talk about cowboy country or cow country, right? It was much different even when I got here in 2024. Just like the community has a lot more transplants or people that move in to the community that maybe not as invested. A lot more younger families with younger kids, don't have high school age kids yet. I think that's a reason. And then when we went from the 5th biggest school in North Carolina to one of the smaller schools in Charlotte. I was number 6A. So, I mean, that Palisade split hurt us tremendously. The demographic of our student body isn't a demographic that traditionally follows football. I think that impacts it as far as the student body and the turnout there. So I think it's multiple reasons why that's the case. I will say that Olympic is turning the corner. You know, when you split a school, like going from Olympic and opening Palisades, which Palisades didn't pull from any other school other than Olympic, you know, for the most part, versus at Ballantyne Ridge, they pull from 2 or 3 different schools. And, you know, you've seen other schools open that pull from multiple schools. I mean, we just took a huge hit with enrollment and culturally, like just the culture and excitement of the school. We took a huge hit when Palisades opened. And I do think we're on the, we turned the corner, you know, going in the right direction as far as like our student body growing more than it was a few years ago. But all that stuff had a major impact on things like attendance and culture for sporting events or sports involvement.
Yeah, if any Olympic people watching this and you haven't attended a game, drive over Union County and watch. Come on, support these guys.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming over. I'm very cognizant about your time. I'm sure you probably like to get some rest and do other things and talk to us. But Dale, I didn't know if you had anything else you want to ask Coach, or Coach, you got anything you want to say?
Yeah, if Coach Thompson's got something he'd like to say specific. Yeah.
No, well, I thank you for giving me an opportunity to come on the show, be able to talk football and talk about my football team. Those are 2 of my favorite things to do. And, you know, I love what you guys do for high school football, and, you know, it's definitely followed and appreciated. And, you know, thanks for having me. Come by Olympic anytime. We'll love your support.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, last time I was in the Olympic, Dale, I think it was in 2017. We did a jamboree over there, if I remember right.
Yeah, we sure did.
Time ago. And
exactly.
Jim, that's far too long, buddy. You got to come on back.
And you know, I met a guy that hired Coach Wilkes back when he was at Carver. He was a principal there, or I think he was a guy that brought him over. Maybe not at Carver, but over in Forsyth County, and spoke really highly about Coach Wilkes. Said he was a really good man.
One of the biggest influences on my coaching career, man. Love working for him. Learned a lot.
Well, that's wonderful, man. Well, you're welcome to stay, but again, I just wanted to be cognizant of your own time, because I know you guys don't get a lot of spare time this time of year. So,
yeah. Well, I appreciate you, man. It's dinner time. So.
There you go, bro.
Feel free to join us Friday night after the game if you guys. I know if it doesn't go well for you, that's not a time people like to talk. Yeah. But you're more than welcome, regardless, to join us Friday night.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Well, this is Brandon Thompson with Olympic Trojans. And, Coach, I hope you wish you the best. Dale, that was a great interview. I enjoyed talking to Coach Thompson. Just a great guy to talk to.
He's a good guy. No question.
I don't know about you, but I can feel I can imagine the energy on that sideline is incredible.
It's, you know what it is, Jim? It's more respectful.
Yeah.
It's a different, you know, you get one of the reasons I like to be on sidelines is to be able to gauge how that energy, as it is, you know, how it goes. I do pay attention to how coaches interface with their players. Because that's important to me, that not just that you're doing X's and O's, but you're also developing the players, and you're developing the players not just from a playing point, but from a human point. And, you know, as I mentioned, you know, you've seen coaches, I've seen coaches that when a player does something wrong, let's say fumbles the ball, you know, and it's in a critical situation, and a player fumbles, that's just, or commits a penalty that is costly to the team, or misses a tackle that's clearly on him. Any of these kinds of things that can be directly pointed at the player making a mistake. The way a coach handles that is very impactful into that kid's mind, not just for that moment and the next play, but it's potentially as he just goes through the rest of his life, how he needs to handle those kinds of situations. And I see coaches just tear into players when those things happen. And I see coaches that actually take the moment to coach that situation, both in how to prevent it from happening, but also how to handle it. And from what I saw and I've seen, that's what I see from this sideline, Jim. So it's a respectful to players, coaches to players, players to coaches. It's kind of it's not a unorganized or any of those other things that you don't want to have, but a very respectful. I would like to use the word respectful energy.
Good. I like that. Most of the time when I see a player make a physical mistake, I'm going to say 95% of the time the coaches are there not to criticize them, but to pick them up, kind of to build them back up. The kid knows they made a mistake. Obviously, when something bad happens, the kid knows it. Now, there's certain times when a kid may miss a tackle or was out of position when he knew he wasn't supposed to be. Maybe he missed a call or whatever. Sometimes they don't know about it, but a lot of times the coaches or the players know right then and there that they did something wrong. But
yeah, sadly, Jim, I would say that it's less than. I mean, excuse me, it's more than 5% that go the other way. I'm talking about
really
coaches.
for you? Wow.
Yeah, I've seen too many coaches that will immediately, light into a kid because, especially when you got those very critical situations in the game. I noted this about Coach Simmons, and that's not a bad thing. This is a good thing. Coach Simmons had a situation in that Providence game where a player, and you've heard me talk about that. It's really caused the game to go into overtime because it led to the tying touchdown, and that was Palisades that made a stop, but a player got an unsportsmanlike conduct call on him, and Simmons didn't go crazy about it. He was upset about it, certainly, and upset that the player let himself get into the situation, but the way he handled it was professional and the way you would want to handle. But there's too many times that same kind of situation. I've seen coaches just tear into the kid, and what they do is they drive them down. It's like, well, I'm gonna beat you down because you just hurt me. So the coach is taking
make
it
it personal. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. You've taken my win away from me. So
right. Well, we got some other things we want to talk about tonight. I see we have some Mr. Football finalists. How many football finalists do we have this year? Here we go. It's a bunch of them.
Yep.
I tell you what, that player Dixon, or from Dixon, JJ Goulat. Oh my gosh, he is a. I saw that some of his film. I mean, it looked like they're running at the single wing, and I tell you what, that kid's got to be sore.
Yeah, I've had an opportunity to see several of these players in action, and I'm gonna tell you, Samari Matthews. You look at those stats, and you might not think, oh, he's only got 2 interceptions.
I'll tell you what, Condre Harrison.
They don't throw at him, Jim. Just the point is they don't throw at him because he's so good.
Condre Harrison, tight end Reedsville. I saw him play last year. And I tell you what, for a 6'7", 243-pound player, and he is every bit of it. He is built like a Greek god. He has the best body control I've ever seen. He can run almost like a 45 degree, where his feet, the whole body is like at this level here or this angle here, and won't miss. Doesn't slow down at all. He is just a gamer.
And it's hard for me to say who is the best, but of the players I've seen, Myers Park has got a phenomenal defensive line. I'm gonna tell you, that kid is good. Is he he might, Jim, for me, it's hard not to say that he might not be the best. I think he might be the best player I've seen.
Interesting thing about this list here, though, and it's probably because he's been injured most of the or a good portion of the season, is Faison Brandon over at Grimsley, the quarterback that's going to go to Tennessee.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal player. I don't know about you, but that was probably the best quarterback I've ever seen on the high school level ever. That's saying a lot, too.
Yeah. And he's really good. And certainly shouldn't be on this list because he hasn't played this year.
Yeah, he hasn't played, so I get that.
Yeah.
Totally get that.
Yeah, but I would debate if he's the best quarterback.
Who would you take, someone like Drake May or Sam Howell? Or
so, no, I don't put Howell with these guys. Drake May, yes. Drake May. See, the best high school quarterbacks I've seen, and Faison is one of them. So, there's a group of kids that I can say are the best, but May, Leak, Joe Cox.
How about Chad Greer or Greer?
And my boy Mike Epley. I did not see Chad Greer play football in high school, so I can't say. In his era of playing, I probably only saw probably not even a handful of private games. And most of them were probably country day games. And obviously country day, I didn't know who Chad Greer really was, right, other than reading about him in the paper, but I didn't really know anything about him, didn't get a chance to see him. But Drake May's probably got the best arm of any quarterback I've ever seen. His accuracy, his ability to make throws, the things that Drake May could do in high school that really you don't see as much. The windows that he could throw into and behind the, off shoulder from the defender. He placed the ball where he had to place the ball to where his receiver was really the only opportunity to make the play, and the defender did not have a chance to play on the ball. And you just don't see that in high school quarterbacks.
Right.
Leak had a strong arm. Leak was a phenomenal player. I think
he's a good leader.
He's a good leader, but Leak had a little more height to him. Leak's really good. And Langston and I have the argument a lot. We're used to. We don't have it quite as much anymore. Joe Cox is also, I don't know how much you got to see of Joe Cox, but Joe Cox that was Mr. Accurate there. He threw some of the prettiest balls I've seen thrown.
Yeah.
Joe was a phenomenal high school quarterback, but I think Drake May in we'll say modern football, because I really like Mike Epley, but in modern football, I say Drake May's the best I've seen. And so modern football will be anything that's modern era is 72 and later, right? But it's
right.
So let's go later than that. Let's say since Mike Epley, let's say since Drake's dad played. Drake's dad was a phenomenal player too.
Mark
Let me
May.
tell you.
Yeah, class of 83 from Indy.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal player. And, he had a guy with him at Indy by the name of Chip Ferguson. So you had Chip Ferguson and Mark May on the same team.
And Tommy Knotts was the offensive coordinator too, wasn't he? At Indy back then.
Yeah, he was at Indy then, yes. You know who Chip Ferguson was, right?
Right.
Went to Florida State. Very good. He moved down to Spartanburg, South Carolina to play. Right. So, Jim, I've seen a lot of great quarterbacks, but Drake May, Faison is a phenomenal player. Absolutely phenomenal. I'd take him on my team in a heartbeat. But Drake May is just otherworld when it comes to throwing, and Drake could run too.
Right. So, Dale, we did have some sad news about Myers Park community from yesterday. A young man Parker South passed away. We don't know the details behind it, but anytime you have a kid that's a high school player that passes away, my heart breaks for that community, for the students, the families, and the parents, and everybody in there, and the administrators. It's a sad moment.
Yeah, I'm going to extend it to any kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad when youth, when we lose youth. We did have no. I'm sorry. I thought we had another, but yeah, we don't have any other information to state.
Right.
Our
And
wishes.
I always think about the parents.
Right.
I guess it's because I'm a parent now. I have a daughter that's soon to be 25. I always remember back when my daughter lost some friends a few years back, and I always thought about their parents. It's a tough thing. I wouldn't know what to do to die after my own child. So it's got to be a tough one.
Yeah, certainly. Same
I hope
here.
I never have that feeling. I think that school, does it have some regional final soccer games? I think on Thursday, then a football game at home on Friday. I'm getting a message here. Soccer Thursday, football's on Friday. That is a lot of things to go through in a week.
It is, most definitely.
So,
But that's right. We're not just into football playoffs, but we got soccer playoffs are underway. We don't talk much about the other sports here, but certainly there's other athletes out there.
I do want to talk about communication, Dale. You brought a good point just a little bit ago about how the coaches communicate with the student athlete. How about when the school administrators communicate to the different schools? And specifically, I'm talking about a 6:00 game in Mecklenburg County on Friday. You know more of the details than I do. I've got to ask you about that one.
I Jim, I'm so upset. It's like, what can CMS do to make me madder at them? And this doesn't impact me as much as it impacts the kids having to play Friday night.
Well, the parents, they have to get there at 6:00.
So West Charlotte exactly is going to have to play a game, and as I said in our chat, is this JV football? Because I'm going to tell you, having sons that play JV football, I hated 6:00 because they play, JV plays at 6:00, and getting to a game at 6:00 in Charlotte is just, let me tell you, Jim, it's just not. We have a hard time getting people to games at 7:00.
Right.
Now to have to come to a game at 6:00. But the question is, why? Why target West Charlotte and say, as potentially I heard was 6:00 was chosen by West Charlotte because another alternative was to play at a neutral site. So, Jim, this is more of this.
Why would it have to be played at a neutral site? Why can't it be at the home field at 7:00?
Well, this is more of the same malarkey that limited seating at games.
Right.
The thing that CMS cannot do is they cannot limit tickets in a playoff game. Because the NCHSAA controls, while the NCHSAA sanctions games throughout the season, playoffs are under the NCHSAA's umbrella even more so. And stadiums have to be per a specified capacity, seating capacity.
Lights.
Lights. There's so many things that you have that you can get by with in the regular season that you cannot get by with in the playoffs. And So I'm sure that probably CMS wanted to limit tickets. And so they're thinking, so what they're saying to me is the area around West Charlotte is not safe. So we got to start at 6:00. Well, I got news for you. This time of year, it's as dark at 6 as it is at 7. It's
Right.
as dark at 8. It's dark. So that doesn't make it any safer if that's what this is. And why West Charlotte? Why is West Charlotte being signaled out for this? The comment that people keep anytime this conversation comes up, and trust me, being in here in Charlotte and talking to people in Charlotte, being at games in Charlotte, this gets talked about even if it's not a West Charlotte game. And everybody, to the man and woman, believes it's racial based.
Why is it Myers Park? Why aren't they going through the same stuff as West Virginia or West Charlotte is?
Yeah, why isn't West Charlotte? Why isn't Myers Park playing at 6:00 Friday night? Well, yeah, it's tough playing at 6:00 Friday night. You know.
Yeah, just
I don't understand, Jim. What's that word we've been using a lot? Transparency.
Yeah, transparency.
If we don't have it, then what are we left to?
I mean, the only thing I can do is speculate that somebody's blinded by the light or blinded by the white, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's just, man. I mean, so help me, you just have to guess at this point. Why are they doing this? I mean, they don't like Sam. Is Sam's hair too long?
It's not. Certainly got nothing to do with the coach.
I mean, was it because the groundskeeper says something ugly to somebody at the CMS? I don't know.
I don't think it's. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we could make things up, right? I mean, we're left to that. We could say, "Hey, this is an attack on Sam," or "This is an attack on the PA announcer at West Charlotte." We don't know, so we're left to making up whatever it is. It doesn't look good, though. It certainly looks like what everybody thinks it is. That's what it looks like. Yeah. And all of a sudden, this is a problem. Wasn't a problem last season or I just don't. None of this is making sense, and they won't tell us. I am digging. I got some pushback because I don't know the people that are making this decision. I don't know who those people are, and I've got to know that to be able to get emails and such. So now I've got to do some more digging to find out who are the people, and I'm gonna find out who all you are, and I will be able to put in a specific records request for your emails and your text messages and all that other stuff, and I will get them. You don't want to tell us; we'll find out eventually. Or you can tell us. You're welcome to come on this show next Wednesday night, or talk with Langston Wirtz about coming on the main show and explain to us what's going on.
I mean, I also want to hear the argument. They're going to say something like, "We're doing it for West Charlotte's best interest," and I'm just curious if they do say something like that, which I do anticipate them saying something like that. How did they know what's West Charlotte's best interest? I mean, I don't know what they don't. I don't think they know what's the community's best interest. What I think a lot of things we're doing right now is we're working on stereotypes that may or may not be what the information is leading to. It might be based on stereotypes that are definitely unfair. I don't know. It just makes me angry. I used to see this crap in Stanley County, and I expect more in Mecklenburg County. I mean, if you want to go to a county that has 65,000 people back in 1973, and they still have the same amount of people in 2025, by all means, go back to that area. But Mecklenburg is supposed to be a growing area, is supposed to be more progressive-minded. And when you do this type of crap, bad things are going to happen. It's going to make me angry. It's going to make Dale angry.
Well, you made a good comment. Best interest. Well, what is the best interest here? What interest are we attempting to satisfy? And we don't know that.
Is it a class system? I mean, gosh, I mean, maybe Myers Park kids make, maybe their parents make more money than West Charlotte parents. Maybe that's the problem.
Well, the fact, I mean, I just hate to say this, but and I don't think, but you know what? I'm left to my own assumptions. Maybe the opposing team doesn't want to play there. Didn't want to play there. They didn't want to travel over and play. So maybe that's it. The opposing team. The opposing team does have influence. Is that the situation?
Yeah.
I don't know. What is it, Jim?
I mean, Sam would play in the parking lot. He already told me that. I'm sure he told you the same thing, that he doesn't care where they play. They'll play in the parking lot for whether he cares.
Exactly.
I mean, Sam loves his players, and when they're treated unfairly or they're treated as second-class citizens, and that's exactly what CMS is doing right now. They're treating the whole community as second-class citizens, and it just disgusts me.
Exactly. So, Jim, you're upset. I'm upset. We're not directly impacted, although we are, whether you know it or not. We are directly impacted.
Oh, we are.
We're not direct. Yeah.
I mean, I love Sam. I'm sure you love Sam too. And seeing him, as much effort and love he's put in those kids, and they're treated that way, darn right, it impacts me, impacts you too. It impacts so many people, and it's just wrong. CMS,
Well,
be transparent. It's not too hard.
See, Jim, it impacts me in this way. I'm a West Side person. I grew up on the West Side. I tell people that after high school, I got decent in basketball, and I played in the city league. And our home gymnasium, if you will, was the YMCA there on Beatties Ford Road. I'm a West Side guy. I love my West Side, and even though West Charlotte we had two kind of rivals, you could say. We had Harding, who was a heated rival, but we could hang out with them, and we just hated West Charlotte, and West Charlotte hated us, and so it was just a different kind of feeling between us. But to see what I see happening here is you're impacting the gate at West Charlotte, which is impacting the financials at West Charlotte, which is impacting all the athletes at West Charlotte, not just the football team, but the basketball team, the baseball team, the volleyball team, wrestling. Everybody needs that money that would come in on Friday night. So now you're going to start the game early. An hour early. Not as many people will be able to get to the game. The gate's going to be less. Just Jim, that's one of the reasons it impacts me. But the other reason it really impacts me is, again, I'm a West Side person. You're targeting a West Side school, because if we look at what games have been limited, it's been West Side.
Right.
It's been West Side. You're targeting a community, a race class of people is what it looks like to me, and I don't like that. So
yeah, I mean, they're trying to bully stuff, and one thing a bully is scared of is a crazy man. And I don't know about you, but I'm really willing to unleash some internal crazy on that. The whole thing is I just can't stand people being bullied, and that's I'm not trying to make fun of Myers Park or anything like that. I don't think they're wine and cheese crowd or anything like that. The stereotype is that Myers Park has a lot of political power. They're maybe a little bit more affluent than the rest of the schools in Mecklenburg County. And West Charlotte is like a different anomaly to them. West Charlotte is one of the 5 schools in North Carolina that's part of the old NCHSAA. That was the historically black athletic conference, that athletic association back before desegregation. And the other 4 schools are still in existence. There's Hillside, E.E. Smith down in Fayetteville, Dudley over in Greensboro, and Carver over in Winston-Salem. And, to me, West Charlotte has a lot of history to it. And they've been, I'm sure over the years, West Charlotte graduates, they know a lot about adversity. I mean, and to see this keep on practicing for no reason whatsoever, it makes my blood boil.
Well, West Charlotte is the model of integration, though.
Yeah.
When we went to desegregation and integration of schools, West Charlotte was like a national model of how well it can work.
Right.
So, I mean, there's that for sure that should not be overlooked. Myers Park, though, Jim, and we'll move on from this here, but Myers Park, everybody in Charlotte knows that there is a lot of political pull in Myers Park, but Myers Park's not involved in this particular
not at all.
situation.
And
Providence
I'm not trying
is.
to. Yeah.
And Providence is an affluent
Right.
situation as well. So if you don't want us to think that it's because parents from Providence called up and said, we ain't going over there, move that game.
Clear it up for us. Clear it up for us.
Clear it up for us, exactly. That's what I see right now.
And, my last name is West, so I have to stick up for my fellow West, the West Charlotte community. So, Dale, let's go over some picks for, I guess, this playoffs here. I got to see these picks, and I'll tell you which ones I will take. That Porter Ridge Richmond game, that's going to be a close one. It's going to be a very close one. I think Richmond's going to squeeze by on that. It looks like everybody took Richmond.
Yeah, so I thought about picking Porter Ridge, but I went with the home team. That's why I went with Richmond. I went with Richmond.
That AC Reynolds Catholic game is going to be a squeaker, too. I'm going to take AC Reynolds. I think both teams are a little bit down this year. I think Catholic may be a little bit more down than AC Reynolds. I'm going to take Reynolds on that one.
Yeah, it could be competitive. I got a feeling I don't know. I don't know that I see a squeaker.
That Olympic Sun Valley is another one. That's going to be a really good game.
Now,
before our interview, I was going to pick Sun Valley, but after that interview, I'm picking Olympic now.
Well, this game, I kind of struggled with on how it might go. And honestly, I think what ultimately, and I tried to do this unbiased, Sun Valley, and I know some of the coaches over there. I like you guys, but obviously if I could, if I had to pick a bias situation, I'd pick Olympic. I picked Sun Valley because it's being played at Sun Valley. I felt like it was I feel like it's potentially going to be a competitive game. I'll leave it at that, Jim. I think it's going to be a competitive football game.
Statesville, Ashbrook. I'm going Ashbrook all the way. And I have friends at Statesville, think a world of them. I got to go with Ashbrook, and it's just because Ashbrook's a juggernaut right now.
Yeah, I told you Friday night. I would think about going to this game, but the more that I've thought about this game, I'd probably rather drive over to Union County to watch Olympic and Sun Valley play, so I could see a real, I think, potentially a real football game.
That West Monroe game, that's going to be a game that I think Monroe's going to walk around. So I think by the third quarter they're going to pull away, and I think that's going to be a comfortable victory for West Rowan, or for Monroe. I think Monroe's going to pull away.
Yeah, it could. I could be wrong, but we could also see a running clock here.
Now, that last game, if anything, I wish they had, whoever made the selections would have taken East Surrey and North Stanley, because I think that game would be that's going to be a juggernaut also. South Stanley is going to handle Christ the King. Oh, I see North Stanley's out of the area. Oh.
Yeah. So this has got to reach Observer. This is for Observer coverage, not state coverage. So
I was going to say probably is. But Christ the King, that's, I guess, is that Cabarrus County or Huntersville area or Harrisburg or?
Yeah. Um, write your people in Norwood and tell them to buy some subscriptions. Buy some subscriptions and it would cover. I didn't see this as being, I may be wrong, but I don't see this as being a game. If I'd have put another game on here, I would have probably put the Mallard Creek game on.
Mallard Creek West Forsyth. Yes.
Yeah.
I know a lot of you guys are going with Mallard Creek. I'm going West Forsyth in that game.
Jim, it could happen.
Yeah.
I personally, I don't know yet. There's a lot of reasons I think West Forsyth could win that game. A lot of reasons. Yeah. I think they're more than they both got good defenses, because you turn around and that real good Mallard Creek defense just got. I got to watch what I say, or I'll be running on somebody's reel to reel. Indy kind of had their way with that defense. I'm not saying
35-0 or something. Was that the
exactly
score?
Yeah. So I'm not saying West Forsyth is Independence, but I don't know. I think that game will be a competitive game, and I'm gonna say right now there would be no surprises, no shocks if West Forsyth won.
Right.
That's my thoughts. I think that would have been a better game than Christ the King. Now, our records. Now, wait a minute. Before we switch, No Limit. It's funny because in when we were being prodded for our picks because we hadn't turned them in because we hadn't received them till late, I responded back because I looked at everybody's records and I just made the comment, at least No Limit is above 500. I didn't mean that in a negative way. It would have been bad if he was below 500, and he's well above 500.
Yeah.
But he's like, I forget exactly what he said, but he's like, leave me alone. This is my birthday or something like that. I don't really know him personally. I'd love to have him come on the show sometime. He's a good personality.
Where's Larry? Where's he originate?
He's radio here in Charlotte.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, he's a good personality. East Met grad, that's right, and Johnson C. Smith. I don't really know him, but I know of him. I've ran into him a couple of times. He should come on the show sometime, Jim. I think he's got some good energy. Kids love him. He used to go out on these football Friday night things. I don't know if he still does that, but I know the kids loved him. Nate, but he picked Olympic. That's interesting.
You remember WSOC? They used to have a lady named Meg McDonald's. They used to come in.
I remember Meg. Yeah.
And Meg went to was going to the local schools and went to North Stanley back then. And this is after I graduated. And I know the students there just loved Meg McDonald because she was like the coolest person. Before that was it Doreen Gensler, I think was her name.
Yep. I remember that name now. Yep.
I mean, WSCSC, they used to have some of the best anchor ladies around because they would just they loved interacting with the students, and that's something I love seeing. I love seeing interaction between adults and the student body.
Do you remember it was Cricket, wasn't it?
Cricket Morton.
Yeah. Do you remember?
Yeah, she went to Albemarle. She graduated '89. I played golf with her. I shot. We were in the county tournament, and I shot a 78, and she shot a 75. We were playing together, and Cricket's mother used to work with my dad. Actually, she reported to my dad. Barbara Morton used to report to my dad over the Division 10 in Albemarle.
I didn't know Larry isn't. I didn't know Larry is an assistant with Sam. I didn't know that.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I see that in our chat. Cricket was, I think, phenomenal. I really liked her her on Football Friday Night. I really
Hey,
did.
back in the day though, like Harold Johnson was a great big personality also, and
Yeah,
remember,
but I was a Paul Cameron guy, so
yeah, I agree.
I like Paul Cameron. I like Delano Little. Um, I don't know why, but I did.
The probably the best person on WSCC was, you remember Jerry Peterson.
Yes, yep, yep, yep,
We're going
yep.
to talk about a Thunder Boomer, and
You
oh,
know
oh,
who else
oh,
they had? Um, let's see, Rayford.
Robert D.
Was
Rayford. Yes,
Robert D. Rayford was with
yeah,
WSOC too.
that's right.
Uh, he was a lot of fun, but yeah, uh,
I th-
Harold was. I don't know why, but as a sports guy, for some reason, I liked Harold. Was probably more. I would probably get along with more face to face than Paul Cameron, but for some reason, I like Paul Cameron. I don't know why. Um,
Harold was really big into wrestling for whatever reason. He was
yeah.
he had a good personality. That's the reason I liked Harold. But a lot of times, I think a lot of it was more fluff than anything else. So great personality though. Well, Dale, I know we're running at 9:45 right now. I was going to say, I don't know if we have anything else here. Maybe we can have your
I don't
final
know if
thoughts for.
well, unless somebody wants to throw up quick any games this week
Yeah,
in
if
the
anybody's got
area.
any games.
I don't know if we had those. If not, we'll roll into final thoughts.
Okay.
We'll see what pops up on the screen.
All right. Looks
Okay,
like we're
so
going
it's
to do some final thoughts.
final thoughts. Well, again, it's got to be about CMS. Uh, I had a lot of fun Friday night. We're in the playoffs now. We don't have to worry about which week it is. We know which round it is. Uh, it was cold. It was football, and this is really meaningful football. Not that any other times are not meaningful. We're into meaningful football now, and to have a meaningful football game get jerked around like what's happening to West Charlotte, being
Yeah.
done by CMS again without any explanations as to why this has to be done, why football game, and how they got around actually playing a game. I would think the only reason they were able to get around the time issue was the fact that it's two CMS schools. They wouldn't have been able to do it if it had been a school coming, say, West Forsyth coming down to play West Charlotte. That game would not be able to be moved on time. Um, it could be moved to another location, which was another apparent opportunity or option provided was move it or play at 6 o'clock. And that's all I know right now. I think that's all of us know. And CMS, you just continuing to do it. You're making things look like what they apparently are, and that's because you won't tell us what they actually are. So my final thoughts for tonight are: tell us what it is, or we can only assume that you're doing this based on the demographics of the area the game's being played
Well said, my friend. Well said. Well, Dale, there's a lot of ways that everybody can get a hold of us the next week. Here's our lineup. I won't read it all for us, but you can follow us on X, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. This includes the News and Observer also, along with the Charlotte Observer. We're a big old happy family. A lot of times we'll be
Exactly.
back on Friday, I guess, around 11:30. Dale, I was going to ask you, where are you going to go next week or this on Friday?
I'm still debating it. Jim, I've got opportunities to go to several games. I could go see West Charlotte Providence. I could go see Puff and Palisades. I could drive a little bit further up, which is something I've thought about is to watch Butler and Mooresville, go over to Union County and watch, uh, Olympic and Sun Valley. I mean, these are things that I'm thinking about. Uh, see West Charlotte and go to closest game for second half. So West Charlotte is actually the closest. Oh, you know what? That's a good point. And what he's saying
Yeah, get
is
6 o'clock game. Yeah.
see 2 games. And there was a time when I used to do that. Jim, I would go and watch sometimes a game at one location and then leave at half if the game was not a good game and go watch another game. I've done that many times.
Right.
Myers Park is close. Myers Park is a hard parking situation. That's the only problem with that.
Yeah. They're not the most
Huff,
accommodating to the media.
I could get a better parking situation at Huff, and get out of there quicker.
Yeah.
Because I can park in the VIP area, and what I'll do is I'll just end up parking along that road there near the exit and be good. But that's I don't know. It's usually getting back from games, Jim. So I don't know, Jim. I honestly don't know yet. I don't know if there's anything other than Ashbrook and Statesville and Gaston County to go see. Who's
Right.
Forest View playing? You remember?
Forest View.
No, Stuart Kramer. I didn't mean
Stuart Kramer's playing Bandies.
Bandies. That's right. I wouldn't mind seeing Bandies play. I think Bandies will win that game, but I wouldn't mind seeing the Bandies team.
Yeah, that's gonna be. I mean, Bandies had Hickory on the ropes.
Was that at Stuart? That's not at Stuart Kramer though. That's at Bandies, isn't it?
I think it is at Stuart Kramer, if I remember correctly.
I don't. For some reason I'm thinking it's at Stuart Kramer, but then I think about how good Bandies is.
I think Stuart Kramer had had a bye last week, and Bandies played somebody. And I think Bandies a 10 seed, and Stuart Kramer's a 7 seed.
That may be right. So
there's several.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's several games I could go to. I'm probably going to go to Hillside and watch them play Ashley. I think, let's see, last week maybe we go to the 4A. I think that's where Bandies and Stuart Kramer is. We're going to do the 4A playoffs from last week.
Well, we're sorry.
No, okay.
No, I'm saying, yeah. No. I was just thinking we could have done this before the final thoughts.
Yeah, Bandies and Stuart Kramer. There we go. So that's
right.
it is.
You guys can anybody watching, tell me where you'd like me to go. And you know what? Jim's up there in Hillsboro. Jim will go a lot of places. Anybody in the East watching, you want Jim to come see you, tell him.
Yeah, tell me. I'll go within about an hour or so from my house. Usually I'll go to the from Guilford to Guilford County, Alamance County, Orange County, which nobody's playing now, Durham County, Wake County, Chatham County. I can do Randolph County, you name it. So a lot of different places to go.
There you go. Where should Jim and Dale go on Friday?
One game I was thinking about was over at Northern Guilford, seeing them play Asheville. I think Northern Guilford is going to handle that game. Northeast Guilford,
I think so too, but yeah.
You never know. Northeast Guilford, I think they're playing Dixon. I'd love to see that single wing play. That might be something I'll do next week or this Friday. That's fun to watch, single wing.
Yeah, Jim, I like wing T, double wing, single wing. I like T formation. Maybe
I like buffalo wings. I mean, I just anything with wings.
I love buffalo wings. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to say this. So on the way back, I had a meeting today to adjust my insurance, and on the way back, we stopped at Bojangles, and Bojangles has got some really good buffalo creamy sauce, and I got me one in my Supreme pack, and my wife one in hers. And I used one, and I had some tenders left over, and left it out on the table. And my granddaughter, I didn't think she could open those things, but she opened it. I don't know if you see, it's like a cup, with a foil
Oh
top
yeah,
on it.
yeah.
Yeah, you got it. It takes a little bit of work. That little 3.5-year-old, she she opened it up, and she got it on her princess dress. So
Oh, she's gonna
sorry,
make a
that's
good
what the buffalo wings.
She's gonna make a good North Carolinian then. So.
Oh yeah, hopefully she'll be into hot sauce and other stuff. I have got her hooked on coins.
Okay.
Granddad's favorite hobby. All right.
But there's going to be a lot of fun. We got this is week 2, and you know what? We go to week 6, which is the championship games. Dale, I was going to ask you. I know you got some things going on at the end of the season. Some personal things. Or you think you'll probably be watching it on television? The
So
championship
I've got
games.
so just so people know, it's not bad. It's I have spinal surgery December 9th. Jim, it all depends. December the 9th. It just all depends on what are we looking at? What day are the championships?
11th, 12th, and 13th. So there's
so Jim, it just all depends.
I just don't
probably
see.
I'm going to have to watch it. Yeah.
If you ever seen Dale on the sidelines with his camera and all this stuff, he's got some stuff up there, and Dale's like jumping over benches like O.J. Simpson did the Avis commercials or Hertz commercials. I mean, he's just flying. I mean, he looks like Larry Zonka with wings.
He's just spreading it on.
I mean, just fast. It's like, what was that? My gosh.
I'm so fast. I look like I'm in slow motion. Yeah, I don't know. If I were to, I'm supposed to be able to walk the next day, but I can't lift. I'm told I will not be able to lift more than 5 pounds. So I certainly, if I were able to be on a sideline line, I couldn't run. So it'd be hard to follow plays. So I would probably sit in the press box.
Yeah, I don't blame you on that.
So I don't know, Jim. I'm probably going to be watching state championships. You know what? If we have area teams in the state championships, though, I kind of want to go.
I understand that. Also you got Lenore-Ryan. They're going to host 2 games this year. So I don't know what days they're going to. I guess it's probably going to be on Saturday. I think UNC's. I know they're hosting 4 games. I think one's Thursday night, one's Friday night, and then I'm sure they'll probably do a couple on Saturday. I don't say they're going to do any Friday afternoon games or Thursday afternoon games, but I could be wrong. Who knows? But
exactly.
And then over at County Stadium. Have you ever watched the game at County Stadium?
I have not.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Well, guys, we already done Dale's final thoughts, and we got sidetracked, but I enjoyed this. I enjoy getting sidetracked with you, Dale. And come see us. Go to a football game, guys. There's so many different opportunities. Support your schools and support your players. And again, come see us at 11:30 on Friday nights. And there's a lot of different opportunities for you to see our Talking Preps. And this is Talking Preps OT. For whatever reason, I've been saying Talking Preps Plus, and I've been wrong. It is Talking Preps OT. From Jim West, Dale Ross. Hope everybody have a great night. We'll see you soon.